Imagine this: a Silicon Valley co-founder, a man sitting on the board of a major tech company, throws it all away to run a massive international smuggling operation. That's the shocking reality of what happened with Yishan Liao of Supermicro, who was arrested for diverting billions in AI chips to China. This wasn't some small-time deal. We're talking about a staggering $2.5 billion worth of Nvidia's most advanced AI chips, the very technology the US government is desperately trying to keep out of China's hands. The scheme involved a sophisticated network that routed the hardware through Taiwan and a web of shell companies in Southeast Asia. When the news broke, the market's reaction was swift and brutal, with Supermicro's stock tanking as much as 26% in pre-market trading. This case represents the single biggest chip smuggling bust since the US began export controls back in 2022, revealing a conspiracy that reached the highest levels of a publicly traded company. It leaves us with some critical questions. How did a company co-founder get entangled in something so illegal? And what does it reveal about the global hunger for advanced tech? Now, let's dive into the truly ingenious methods they used to pull off this deception. So how exactly did they manage to fool everyone in this audacious scheme? It plays out like something from a heist movie, complete with decoy servers, shell companies, and even hairdryers. The operation began by routing US-made servers, packed with those banned Nvidia AI chips, first through Taiwan and then through a maze of shell companies in Southeast Asia to obscure their final destination. They knew inspections were a risk, so they staged thousands of non-functional dummy servers to create the perfect illusion for officials. Meanwhile, the real, high-value servers were being stripped of their identities. And this is where it gets wild. They literally used hairdryers to carefully peel the serial number stickers off the real hardware. These legitimate serial numbers were then transferred onto the decoy machines, making the fakes look authentic on paper. They fabricated documents and used pass-through companies to hide their tracks, ensuring every step was covered. Finally, the real servers, now anonymous, were stripped down, repackaged, and shipped off to China. The FBI called it a brazen scheme to evade export controls, and for a while, it worked. But why do these specific chips matter so much that someone would risk everything to get them? To truly understand the gravity of the Supermicro case, we need to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the US-China tech war. We are in the middle of a technological Cold War, and the new battlefield is artificial intelligence. It all started in October 2022, when the US government began implementing strict export controls on advanced AI chips, which they tightened again in 2023 and 2024. Chips like Nvidia's A100s and H100s were specifically banned from being sold to China, because they are seen as a direct national security threat. These aren't just computer parts. They are the engines that power advanced AI, which is crucial for everything from economic leadership to military superiority. But China didn't just accept these restrictions. As we've seen, they found workarounds through large-scale smuggling operations, with some reports suggesting tens or even hundreds of thousands of chips have been illegally diverted. Beijing even retaliated with its own export bans on critical rare earth minerals, creating a tense, economic tit-for-tat. The stakes couldn't be higher, as global leadership in the 21st century may very well be determined by who leads in AI. This is why the US is so aggressive with its controls, and why China is so desperate to acquire these chips. But what does a scandal of this magnitude mean for Supermicro itself, and for the rest of the tech world watching? When governance fails at this level, the consequences are immediate and severe. The moment the news hit, Supermicro's stock plunged between 22 and 26% in pre-market trading. That's not just a dip, that's a signal of pure panic, as investors lost trust. The company acted quickly, placing its co-founder on leave and terminating a contractor involved. And it's important to note that Supermicro itself was not charged, as it cooperated with investigators. But for the market, the damage was already done, because this incident points to a disturbing pattern. This isn't Supermicro's first brush with controversy. The company settled SEC charges for accounting fraud back in 2020, and was accused of manipulation by Hindenburg Research just this year. This pattern of governance failures raises a serious alarm for investors about what else might be happening behind the scenes. If a co-founder can orchestrate a $2.5 billion smuggling ring right under the company's nose, what does that say about its internal controls? This has broader implications for the entire AI supply chain, raising questions about compliance and security for everyone from Nvidia downwards. The government's message is now crystal clear. They will prosecute these cases aggressively, because if they don't, the integrity of the entire U.S. tech supply chain could be at risk, a risk no one can afford in the middle of a global AI arms race.